Hello, I am Toshiko Oda from Tokyo Keizai University. The title of my talk is Reproducibility and I+1 in AI-assisted English writing. In this talk, I will emphasize that it is important for English learners to write reproducible essays when they use generative AI. To do so, they need to obtain English that is slightly higher than their own proficiency level, namely I+1. This is the outline of this talk. Is generative AI a learning tool or a cheating tool for students? This might be the question that many English teachers are asking. Well, I would say it depends on how students use the information by generative AI. This study examines an English writing activity in which students were advised to use generative AI to improve their essays within their I+1 level. Then why is it important to make their essays within their I+1? Because that's the kind of input students need to improve their own English. I+1 is an useful input, but I+5 is not. We teachers all know about this. However, it is important that students are aware of this when they use generative AI, because the English produced by AI tends to be far more difficult than they can handle. So I set my research question as follows. When students write essays with AI assistance, how reproducible are they? Because their essays should be within their I+1. In other words, they should be somewhat reproducible. When the AI-assisted essays are not reproducible, that means they are far beyond their proficiency levels, and that's not useful to improve their writing skills. Next, let me introduce the methodology. I conducted a writing activity from May to July in 2024 in a TOEFL and IELTS preparation course with 11 students. Some of the students would like to study abroad, so that they need to improve their TOEFL and IELTS scores. The students wrote one IELTS essay in a week, and they wrote 8 essays in total. For each essay assignment, they submitted the following 3 items. 1. An original essay without AI assistance. 2. Record of interaction with ChatGPT. And 3. A final essay proofread by ChatGPT. In other words, the students used ChatGPT as a proofreader, and it is already a popular style in Japan. Then the students took paper and pencil test twice, once for the midterm and another for the final exam. In these paper and pencil tests, students worked on some of the essay assignments that they already did with generative AI. Throughout the activity, I sent the following messages to the students many times to make sure that they understand the policy. 1. Your goal is to improve your competence in English, not to pretend to be like a native speaker. 2. You need to draw information from AI that is useful for you. 3. Unlike your teacher, generative AI does not know you. You need to take the initiative to find English that works for you. And 4. Adjusting to the level of I+1 is crucial. If the English is too advanced, it won't help you learn. Next, I will show you the results. First, what kind of prompts were used by the students? The students used 145 prompts in total, and they are categorized as in Table 1. The most commonly used prompts were for grammar check. The second most common prompts were for clarification questions. The third most common prompts were for similar expressions, and the fourth most common prompts were for simpler and easier English. I believe they all help the students obtain comprehensible English. Then, how about the replies from ChatGPT? Well, I was surprised to discover that the replies were all accurate and useful. I did not find any misleading information. For instance, ChatGPT corrected grammatical and spelling errors. It changed unnatural expressions to natural ones. It changed syntax of some sentences while preserving their meaning. And it even made corrections by reading context. This is an example of changing syntax while preserving meaning. A student wrote, "There are separated three categories." It is well known that Japanese students use this kind of their constructions too often. ChatGPT changed the sentence into, "The expenditures are separated into three categories." The syntax has been changed, but its meaning remained the same in the context. This is an example of making corrections by reading context. The task was to look at the two maps and describe the differences. A student wrote, "A marina has been established nearby station because there is a marina in the map of 2005. ChatGPT somehow understood the map and changed the sentence into, "A marina has been established at the river and sea junction." I was very surprised. So far, ChatGPT sounds great, but one possible downside would be that the amount of replies from ChatGPT is too much, and that is not good, because students will not read them if it's too much, and they do not know which ones are important. Well, one possible solution would be to let the students accommodate just some of the comments from ChatGPT, and they may not have to accommodate all of them for the purpose of English learning. This has been mentioned by Haga 2024. Nevertheless, I must say the submitted essays were all very good. I did not find any syntactic errors, and the English was all natural. Then I let the students take paper and pencil tests. They worked on some of the essay assignments that they did with AI assistance. Then I evaluated both the paper and pencil tests and also the AI-assisted essays to see how much the students were able to reproduce the AI-assisted essays. For evaluation, I used the prompts and IELTS writing band descriptors introduced in Mizumoto 2023. This is the result of the first paper and pencil test by 8 students. Their paper and pencil test scores were 1 or 2 levels below those of their AI-assisted essays. This is the result of the second paper and pencil test. Again, the paper and pencil test scores were 1 or 2 levels below those of the AI-assisted essays. This is not too bad, but I wish the gaps were a bit smaller. When the gap between the two scores is large, students need to either study the AI-assisted essays and understand them, or they need to draw more comprehensible English from AI. These are typical examples of an AI-assisted essays and its paper and pencil test result. When students take paper and pencil tests, their essays become shorter and many small mistakes remain. Nevertheless, the English is much more natural and readable compared to the essays that they used to submit without AI assistance. Therefore, I think generative AI is very useful in improving their writing skills. Let me show you some survey results. Do you think generative AI is useful in writing in English? Most students said very useful. Some students said useful. Then, do you agree that generative AI is useful in improving your writing skills? Some students strongly agree. Many students agree. And a small number of students said it was not clear. Overall, the students showed positive attitude about using generative AI as a learning tool. These are some of the comments by the students. AI is very useful to improve my English writing skills, but I need to provide well-formed questions. It is a good idea to use AI to check grammar. However, I would lose my thinking skills if I ask AI what to write. AI was far more useful than I thought, but I think it is important to read the feedback by AI and understand why my English was not correct. Let me summarize the activity. Our research question was, when students write essays with AI assistance, how reproducible are they? The results were, they were reasonably reproducible, and the students found generative AI very useful. Let us discuss two issues, benefits of AI-assisted writing and remaining issues of AI-assisted writing. Benefits of AI-assisted writing that I have observed are as follows. Students are able to improve their writings because the feedback from generative AI is very good. And generative AI makes it possible for teachers to accommodate more writing activities. In fact, I gave 8 writing assignments to the students in the course, but it was not difficult for the students to do all the assignments. Some remaining issues of AI-assisted writing are as follows. First, there should be some kind of formative assessment. Ms. Moro 2024 mentions as follows. Instructors can have their students submit both what they wrote without using AI tools and ones using them to draw attention to the differences. It can be done by languaging or creating portfolio. In other words, the learning process should not be in a black box, and it's important for students to recognize how their English is corrected. Second, the results should be compared against those by a control group without AI assistance. In this study, I believe that generative AI was very useful, but it is nothing more than my subjective impression. A more scientific research is called for. Let me conclude this presentation. In this study, students use generative AI as a proofreader. I encourage them to obtain comprehensible input from generative AI. Students submitted essays at a level slightly above their ability. Their essays were reasonably reproducible by paper and pencil tests. Thus, the activity was reasonably successful. These are the differences. Thank you very much for your attention, and I welcome questions and comments. I am interested in the circumstances of Korean English education. Let's exchange information. Please contact Toshiko Oda at toda at tku.ac.jp. Thank you.